Professor Rick Horrow at Sonoma, the business of sports, and a major announcement, Group 1001, Zach Veach, Andretti Racing, the mastermind, the middle of the brand, Michael Andretti. Do you like being called the middle of the brand?
I've never been called that before.
Okay, well, all right, so your dad is the top of the brand, Marco is the bottom of the brand, and you're the middle of the brand.
Got that, yeah, I guess.
It's interesting. So you began racing basically in 1980, and in 1991 you won the Kart Indy World Series, and now 2017 we've got another issue, and a great watershed announcement today. Contrast kind of the business of IndyCar generally, open wheel racing, in 80, 91, and today. How's it all evolved?
It's interesting. I mean, it's evolved quite a lot. Technology has had a lot to do with it. The way things have gone, where technology came to a point where it was way ahead of what drivers can sustain and things like that. So then, it used to be where people would come up with great ideas and then you go and do it on the racetrack. But then, as it ended up, technology took over to the point where now you had to come up with rules to limit the technology. So it sort of went backwards throughout the years the way it's worked. But it's been quite an interesting journey for sure. The popularity of it is always been up there, but there's been times when it's gone like this and like that. And I'm proud to say I think we're on our way back up again, and it's great to be involved with it. It's such a fantastic sport.
Is the industry over the rift?
Oh yeah. It's all behind us now, and we're all going forward, and we're looking forward to the next 5 years. There's a plan set out up for the first time, I think, in the history of the series, where they have a great plan laid out on what they're going to do with the rules package and things like that. And our TV package is up, and I think there's been great dialogue on what's going to happen with that with the future. So there's a lot of real positive things.
It's interesting. This is not a racetrack, it's a laboratory. This is science. You win or lose a race before you get here, but you also win or lose the race the Friday before the Sunday. A lot different.
Every moment is important, whether it's at the race could be won at the shop. The race could be won because of what you did in the practice on Friday. Every moment's important because you're always learning, and some days you're going to learn more, and those days are the ones that are going to help you win the race on Sunday. It's quite interesting.
Well, you talked about the popularity, and obviously the business metrics are going up, but nothing better than having a new sponsor who basically just formed a major conglomerate. It could have gone anywhere, but Group 1001 chooses to go into IndyCar. How does it make you feel?
Very proud, and I think it says something about IndyCar racing that it shows that we are getting back up there, because we've made quite a few announcements the last year or so of new companies coming in, and Group 1001 is one of the big ones, and we're really proud. And they're not just coming in for a one-off; they're coming in. They made a 3-year commitment, which is huge, and I'm really proud that they chose us and Zach.
All right, little elevator promotional speech. So the Andretti team has 4 locked up, long-term, young, high potential, high ceiling Americans. How does it make you feel too?
Really proud. Yeah. I gotta say, I'm really proud. It wasn't planned that way, but in the end, it's like, wow, we have 4 fantastic American drivers on our team, and it's definitely something we're going to talk about because we're proud of it. We should be.
So the multi-year deal aspect of this, and plus you've had new partners, you have Napa, you have others. 1-year commitments are fine as a Band-Aid, but give us really practical issues that make you happy about a multi-year deal.
What's great about a multi-year deal, you can plan ahead. You have continuity. It's like so many times you're getting into February and you're still not knowing exactly how the team is going to be put together because you don't know how many cars you're going to be running. And now to be able to plan it out over 3 years is just huge. I think it's a big advantage, and I think it's going to affect our results in a positive way on the racetrack.
I think a lot has to do with adroit management and sophistication of leadership as far as the Andretti team. How does that sound?
Oh, thank you. I gotta say, we've got a lot of great people on this team, and we've come a long way. You know, there's been times our team's been like this, and we're definitely on a high right now. And I think it all has to do with the moves we made with putting right people in the right places and bringing in a lot of great talent. And that's all the way through the team in every aspect. I'm very proud of everybody on this team.
Let's talk about the talent. Let's talk about the driving talent. So you could have had anybody as a fourth driver. Why Zach Veach?
Zach was really important to me because he started his career with us in Formula 2000s. Then he went with us to Mazdas. Then he went with us to Indy Lights. So he went through the whole system, the road to Indy system, and it was really disappointing that we couldn't get him to the big cars. There was a few deals worked on and fell apart, but to finally been able to close that chapter with him being in our car is just fantastic because it just shows that the whole system that they have laid out works. And to have a great young talent with him, he could be a big part of our future.
So the other piece of this too is when you look at stick and ball sports and you compare them, every one of them hooks their future to their farm system, the cultivation of young talent. Your ladder here seems to work.
Yeah, it does, and not only with the drivers, but it works with our mechanics and engineers. We bring them up through, so it's very important to have that. I mean, like you say, other sports, have you have football, right? You have you got pee-wees, and you got high school, and you got all the way through, and racing has that now, and it's had it now the last few years, and it's working. 90% of the guys out here on the racetrack have gone through that.
International audience, 1993, Formula One, Marlboro McLaren. Looking back 25 years, how do you view Formula One? You view it fondly? You view it with misgivings? What's your perspective?
Well, I'm always a fan of Formula One. I was never, even as bad a time as I had over there, I never lost my life for Formula One. Maybe certain people in Formula One.
It's like human beings all over.
Yeah,
right?
But the sport itself, is fantastic, and it was a hard time for me. I think there was a lot of things going on politically and things like that, and I was used as a pawn in the whole thing. So that was frustrating, but the actual sport itself, I love it. I love going to Formula One races and watch every one of them on TV, and so I'll always be a fan. I'm a racing fan. I watch all races.
Is there room for Formula One expanding in North America, or is there a ceiling on that?
It's a tough market for Formula One because the U.S. has so many different sports to compete against, And then not only do you have all the stick and ball sports, but then you also have NASCAR and IndyCar, in the same realm. So I think it's a tough nut for them. And, they do have their niche following, and they always will here. But I think it's a tough market.
All right, so we're here at Sonoma, and it's a road course. We have the Rolex, which is 24-hour skill. You've got Formula One, obviously. You've got IndyCar. You've got NASCAR. The diversity of drivers and the skill it takes to perform highly at all those levels. What do you say to the relative uninformed who say that these drivers are not athletes? And don't hit me.
That's just means you're ignorant to the sport.
Right.
I don't understand it. I mean, these guys are major athletes. I mean, if I told you that what they go through in terms of working out and stuff, I know myself. I mean, it's probably one of the things that drove me to retirement. It seemed like all I did was work out, and that's what these guys do. They live in a gym, and they are in fantastic shape. I mean, if I took this car right now, at the end of my whole life, if I went out in one of those race cars, after one lap I'd be falling out of seat because I'm not in shape. I mean, you have no idea how physical these cars are.
Someone ought to test it, and that's the cynical thing, and obviously that's the answer. So basically, finally, Andretti Charities, it's a big deal. Philanthropy, a very important component of what we do in the industry. Michael Andretti Foundation, Speedway Children's Charities. Talk a little bit about that aspect of your business.
Well, we do. I formed a charity when I retired, and I thought, I didn't pick one charity. I made it that you know, we go to so many different markets, and some things are more important in some markets than others. And so we pick our charities that we would get behind in each market or with our sponsors, you know, and I just do it to try to help bring more recognition to whatever that charity is and try to help maybe raise money.
And you've raised a lot of money.
Yeah, we have. I don't know. I've never heard of. I don't know what numbers. You know, it's got to be in the millions of dollars that we've done over the last 10 or so years, and you know, I'm proud of that. You know, it's a little bit of giving back, and you know, I think it's a good thing to do.
Important for the brand. Mario, Michael, Marco, what do you do today to kind of protect the legacy and protect the family brand? Nothing's inevitable, and so, you know, life after, how do you deal with it?
Every move that we make in our business, everything we do is all about the brand and how it affects our brand. So, you know, that's our golden egg, and so we treat it that way, and you know, we make moves, we turn things down because we feel like it won't be good for the brand, you know. So it's all about that for us.
Michael Andretti, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.